Good day, dear friends. It is my pleasure to see you here again at our revision lesson. Today, our revision lesson will be based on different topics. We'll first start tense agreement. What tense agreement is, I'll explain it to you. When we write statements or when we speak or do the test, it is important to think about when the event happens or when the events happened. Either the same events happened at the same time or different events happened at the same time. When we separate the tenses, we'll have to recognize the tenses. Now let us start with tense agreement. From this slide you see that when we talk about the same events, first we'll speak about the same events happening at the same time. Now, tense agreement in this case. Example, when I went to the coffee house, I bought 2 cookies. Here you see that both verbs are in the past. Why? Because different events happened at the same time. I went to the coffee house, and after going to the coffee house, I bought 2 cookies. Both went and both are in the past tense. And what about the tense disagreement? That here is one example. Let us first read the example, then explain it. When I went to the coffee house, I buy 2 cookies. So you see that both events happen in the past, so the second part is incorrect because as the different events happen at the same time, both events have to be in the same tense. It means that buy should be in the past. Went is in the past, but buy is in the present. It is incorrect. Different events at different times. Now, let us see how tenses agree or how to use the tenses. The first sentence is, I biked to class last Monday, but today I am taking the bus. Now, let us first of all identify what about the time for the first event and the tense for the second event. You see here last Monday. If it is last Monday, it is clear that we can't use this event in the present. It should be used in the past. So the first part is okay. We don't have any problem with the first part. And what about the second part? Pay attention to the conjunction but and today. The event in the second sentence didn't happen in the past, but it is about today. If it is about today, we use present tense. That is, I am taking the bus. It means that today I decided to change my routine, and today I have decided not to bike but to take a bus. You see that biked is the past tense because it happened in the past, as I stated, and taking is present or future. It might be my plan that I have already planned to take a bus, and this is happening or will happen today. Then tense disagreement. I biked to class last Monday. How do you think, dear friends? Is it right or not? Of course, it is not right because with last Monday, we can't use present simple because last Monday is about the past but not today. That we should use they are biked, but today I am taking the bus. I biked and I am taking the bus. So once again, we'll see in which cases our tense agreement is incorrect and in which context our tense agreement is correct. Here you see, during the movie, Sam stood up and then drops his popcorn. You see the different events at the same time. Even the venue or the place is the same, that everything happened when he was at the cinema. During movie, Sam stood up, it is the past, and he drops, nothing about drops. It should be dropped, yeah? It is incorrect. Now, let us see the correct answer here. During the movie, Sam stood up and then dropped his popcorn. You see that events, it means that different events happened at the same time. Stood and dropped. Or during the movie, Sam stands up and drops his popcorn. It means that it usually happens with him. When he goes to the cinema and when he stands up, he forgets about his popcorn and he always drops his popcorn. Some examples, some sentences. Here are altogether 5 sentences with 2 options. Let us choose which option should be taken. My father goes or went to Harvard and studied biology. How do you think? Can we use it like this? My father went and studies. It is incorrect. You see, different statements or different events at the same time. My father isn't a student. My father went to university. It remained in the past. So what about the tense agreement? It means different events at the same time. We should take went and studied. My father went to Harvard and studied biology. My father did it, and now my father isn't a student anymore. He used to be a student. When I live or lived in the USA, I always eat or ate dinner at a cheesecake factory. I speak about the past, so it means that I don't live in the USA anymore because it is clear from the context. When I lived in the USA, so it means that I used to live in the USA, but I don't live in the USA anymore. I always ate dinner at Cheesecake Factory. Number 3, I go or went to the gym and work out every Saturday. If it is every Saturday, it happens every day. This is my habitual action. This is my daily routine. Every Saturday, I have already scheduled to go to the gym every Saturday. So in that case, different statements or different events happen at the same time. I go to the gym and I work out every Saturday. Number 4, I record or recorded grades and scanned transcripts at the student center after the lesson. This action happened after the lesson. I went there after the lesson and did what I wanted. And both verbs should be used in the past. I recorded grades and scanned transcripts at the student's center. The last sentence here, I always watch the Flintstones, and my favorite character was or is Fred. I always do it. If I always do it, that both verbs should be in the present tense. I watch and my favorite character is. Watch and is. Now the other test, but this time we don't have any options here. We have to decide which tense form to use the verbs given in brackets. Now let us start if you are ready. Are you ready? Now let us go. The first, before Kyle was elected as a president, you see, it is adverbial clause of time, and our adverbial clause of time is in the past. It gives us the meaning that the action happened or statement happened in the past. If it is so, we can't use the main sentence in the present tense. And to be will be used in the past. Now let us see the correct answer. The correct answer, of course, is was. He was the governor. The second sentence, After they to return from their dive yesterday, do you see their yesterday? If it is yesterday, our mind immediately goes to the past form. And what about the verb in the bracket will be used, of course, in the past. It will be after they returned. After they returned. If our adverbial clause of time is in the past, what about the independent sentence? It means that the main clause, of course, main clause will be in one of the past tenses. From their dive yesterday, some of the divers underwent decompression. Number 3. In chess, it's about the rules of the game chess. In chess, when your king to be trapped, the game to end. This is a fact. When we speak about the facts, if you remember from our previous lesson, if we speak about the facts, we use that's still true facts. We use present simple. When your king is trapped, the game ends. Number 4, after the Imperia, you see that European and Asian territories in the 16th century, if it is the 16th century, it happened in the past. And what about the verb in the brackets? Yes, in the past tense. After the Imperia conquered European and the Asian territories in the 16th century, what will happen after it? He turned his attention to the rest of the world. 5. The people not realize the extent of the destruction caused by the earthquake until the media disclosed the fact last week. You see here, last week gives us information that everything happened in the past. So both verbs in the brackets will be used in the past. Didn't realize, disclosed. By the time you graduate next year, do you see here next year? If it is next year, so it is that information for us that our statement will happen in the past. And as you know that by the time you next year, it is adverbial clause of time. And adverbial clause, if our main sentence is one of the present tenses or future, our adverbial clause of time is always in the present simple. By the time you graduate next year, and what about from my job, we'll speak about future perfect tense. Graduate next year, I will have retired from my job. The next sentence. Throughout the history, mankind always to wonder if there is life in space. You see, if there is our dependent sentence is in present. And if it is in present, what about this one? From the context, it becomes clear to us that throughout the history, mankind wonders, and will wonder. So it means that it happened in the past, and so it is still, and this is unfinished action. If it is unfinished action, we use perfect, of course, present perfect. Throughout history, mankind has always wondered. Be very careful. Has always, but not has wondered always, or always has wondered. You know that these adverbial modifiers stand after auxiliary verb. Mankind has always wondered if there is life in space. 8. Though most of the members not arrive yet, the chairman still want to start the meeting. Depending on the context, it can be used in one of the past and present perfect as well. So it depends on the context. Though the most of the members haven't arrived yet, the chairman still wants to start the meeting. That it is fact that we are the eyewitness of it, that we are at the meeting and we see that the chairman wants to start it. Or we speak about this event happened in the past. And what about the first one? The first is in the past perfect, and what about the second is in the past simple. Though most of the members hadn't arrived yet, the chairman still wanted to start the meeting. So again, I want once again to state that it depends on the context. The last, ever since I to start the course, my English to improve a lot. And as you know, adverbial clause of one of the conjunction for adverbial clause of time, it means that subordinate clause conjunction is since, and you know that the sentence which starts with since is used in the past, and what about the main sentence is in the present perfect, past perfect, or present perfect continuous, or past perfect continuous. Ever since I started the course, my English has improved a lot. That here you see their answers, yeah? Now this time we'll do multiple choice test. Here you see 5 variants and we'll decide which variant to take. Now let us start with the first one. Unfortunately, the Weather Bureau that less rain this year than last year, which may be bad news for the farmers. It is about today. It is about today's reality. Now let us choose the appropriate answer here. Has predicted fell. It is incorrect because the first part is in the present perfect. And what about the second one is in the past? That's nothing about the tense agreement. Then was predicted false, so again no tense agreement. Is predicting has fallen. It hasn't happened yet, so this is the prediction. If it is prediction, we can't speak about present perfect. Or is predicted is falling, so nothing is that is happening now. Our okay answer. Now let us see if B answer is okay answer. The Weather Bureau predicts that less rain will fall. If it is prediction, predictions are mainly used with future because they give the prediction, give the prognosis about the future. Second, ever since she started attending, you see, ever since it is past simple, and you know that if the since sentence is in the past, what about the next sentence? It means that main sentence is in perfect. Now let us see how the variance tenses agree with each other. Evening course, Linda isn't doing, wasn't doing, hasn't been able to do, used to. Doesn't do, didn't do. Started since only C variant is okay variant. It is too easy to understand. Linda hasn't been able to do as much yoga as she used to. From the context, it is clear that our C is our okay answer. 3. Sandy on her car all day long, and I wonder if she by this evening. If it is by this evening, we speak about future and future perfect by this evening. Something will have finished by this evening. I wonder. If it is I wonder, after wonder, because you are much more interested if something will finish or not. Now, Sandy on her car all day long. You know that for all day long we can use perfect continuous, though it has already finished, but its result is still seen. So which one to use? Works is incorrect. Worked is also incorrect. Is going to work has finished, but nothing about all day long. Had worked, it is about the past. And our OK variant is E. Has been working on her car all day. And I wonder if she will have finished by the evening. Our second topic is sentence completion. Sentence completion is closely connected with tense agreement and changing direct speech to indirect speech, because when the first sentence is given and then this is the main sentence which is said by someone, and what about after it, which sentence to be used in order to complete the sentence, or how to make the tenses agree with each other. If when we are given, or when we do the test which requires us a sentence completion, we should follow some important rules. Now let us see what these rules are. Rule number 1. Subordinate clause, it is dependent clause. Subordinate clause is never used in the question form. Now please remember, dear friends, subordinate clause is never used in question form. That, as you remember, if we change direct speech into indirect speech, yes, no questions change to affirmative sentence, and we put there if or whether. And what about WH questions? We keep the question words, but after question words, the sentence isn't in the yes-no question form. It means that, once again, remember, subordinate clause is never used in question form. For example, she asks where they are going. That's never go that towards the variant, which says she asks where are they going. It is incorrect. If we want to make the question form of this sentence, our attention is paid to the main sentence. Does she ask where they are going? Does she ask? Remember. Rule number 2. Don't use have, has, had. They are auxiliary verbs. And if they are auxiliary verbs, it is clear that we speak about perfect tenses. After when, what time, and how long ago. Of course, we speak about sentence completion. If they are dependent sentences, it means subordinate clause. Never use when the film festival has taken place, that we have, even if our main sentence is in the perfect, when we change the direct into indirect speech, and if we have to use when they are, we immediately change the perfect tense form sentences to past tense form. When the film festival has taken place, it is incorrect. Or what time she has finished her lesson, it is also incorrect. But when plus have, that we can use after when some expressions, but in these expressions have isn't auxiliary verb. This is the expression themselves, phrases themselves. They are have a rest, have dinner, have breakfast, have tea, have coffee, have a talk, yes, then have an appointment, etc., etc. For example, when I have a rest, or when I have an appointment, or have to do, be very careful. When you see infinitive after have, its question form is formed by using to do auxiliary. I have to go there. Do you have to go there? I had to go there. Did you have to go there? Rule number 3. Tense agreement, main sentence. If the main sentence is in the past, our subordinate clause is only used in one of the past tenses. So again, I would like to note that if our subordinate clause is facts and then generally true, we don't use them in the past, we use them in the present. For example, they asked me why I was going there, and we can't say that they asked me why I am going there, or why I want to go there, or why I must go there. It is incorrect. If our independent sentence, it is that the main sentence is in the past, what about our second sentence is, it means that subordinate sentence is always in one of the past tenses, in one of the past tenses. You know, past tense, past continuous, past perfect continuous, and future in the past. Rule number 4. Very often students make mistakes using for with why. We never use why with for, because why itself has what about in its meaning, it has for. So never use why with for. If you see this variant why and within the sentence for as well, don't take this variant because it is incorrect variant. Why for is incorrect, and we use for with what? What for or for what? For example, why are you here? Or why has she come here? What has she come here for? She has come here for her notes. Or she has come here, and when we answer with the question why, we can use because as well. She has come here because she left her notes here yesterday. Or she has come here for her notes. Rule number 5. Where that it happens in relative clauses, that if our relative clause conjunction is where, we don't use in, at, on, but we use from. For example, we don't say that the university where I studied at, we never say it, because inside of the where that there is in, on, and at. So we don't need to use them. We have to omit them. The university where I study is famous for its graduates, or the university which I studied at, do you see, we use in, on, at, with which I studied at, or the place where I live, the place which I live in. Rule number 6. Relative clause, starting with who, where, which, that, whom, whose, why, are used with a relative clause when we give explanation or extra information about something, about somewhere, about any day, or about someone. We use who, where, which, that, whom, whose, why, but not what. It means that in relative clause, what doesn't appear. And with the book, what I bought yesterday was about our national heroes. You see, it is incorrect. Which conjunctive word to use here? Of course, that or which. It will be explained in rule number 7. Rule number 7. Who, that are used for people in relative clause, which and that for objects or things. You see, that can be used for both, for people and for things, but which is used only for things, and who is used only for people. Examples. The man who or that lives next door is friendly, but we don't say the man which. You can use the question. For example, which man are you talking about? Don't confuse them. This is the question. And we would like to clarify, identify which one you are talking about, this or that. I gave all the books which or that she needed, but nothing about who or what, as I mentioned here in rule number 6. What is not used as a conjunction in relative clause. Now some sentences. We have to choose 1 out of 5. The US dollar is widely accepted as a strong and stable currency, is actually much less stable than the Japanese yen. Our main sentence is, the US dollar is actually much less stable than the Japanese yen, and then we give explanation. It means that extra information about the USA dollar, and dollar is a thing. What about our main sentence is here? The US dollar is actually much less stable than the Japanese yen. And what about the second sentence? Is widely accepted as a strong and stable currency. As you know, it is that it identifies which dollar I speak about. Do I speak about the US dollar or Canadian dollar, or that it is extra information about it? Which of these variants, which of these that conjunction words to use there? What, as you know from the rule 6, what can't be used here? Where? US dollar isn't the place, it is a thing. When is used for times, and why is the reason. So in that case, our C variant is right variant, which is widely accepted. Number 2, who is the boy you are speaking about? If we want to get extra information, which boy I am talking about, yeah, which boy I'm talking about, this is the question. That which variant to use. Where is incorrect, as you know. Which can't be used with people. What isn't used for relative clause. Whose, the boy here is an object, and after it there is no object which belongs to this person, and in that case our okay variant is D, who you are speaking about. Of course, here who is object. Number 3, in the whole article there was only one note interested me. Who, you know, is it incorrect because who belongs to people. What can't be used here. Whose and where are incorrect, and which variant is our right appropriate variant? Of course, it is that. Note that interested me, and in this sentence that is the subject of the subordinate clause. And one more thing that I want you to remember is omitting of conjunction in relative clause. The relative pronoun can define the subject or object. For example, they are the people who or that bought our house. Here, the people is the object or is the subject. The people bought our house, and the people is the subject. And they are the people who she met at John's party. Here, the people is object. And what about omitting of relative pronouns? We often leave out, omit, or we don't use relative pronouns if after relative pronoun, the subordinate clause has its own subject. In that case, it can be omitted. We don't say that we always omit it. It can be omitted, especially in spoken language, but in written language, it would be better if you use it. Don't omit it. Now, examples. They are the people she met at John's party. That you see, here people is the object, and what about who can be omitted because our subordinate clause has its own subject. If it is object pronoun, it can be omitted. The second, here are some cells which or that the researcher has identified. You see that the researcher is the subject of the dependent sentence. It means that what about this relative pronoun is the object of the subordinate clause. So that's why if we omit it, it doesn't give any difference to the meaning. It can be used or it can be omitted. Our third topic or third material to be revised is conjunctions. You know that conjunctions are very important in all languages, and conjunctions, though conjunctions are considered to be easy, at the same time sometimes it makes us feel difficulty in using or in choosing of them. Now let us once again look through the conjunctions, their meanings and their types, and do some tests regarding to using of conjunctions. You see here, conjunctions have two types, coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. What coordinating conjunctions are? Here you see fanboys. Fanboys is an acronym which have been built from the initial letters of coordinating conjunctions. These coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, then or, yet, and so. If it is difficult for you to remember, I know that you have to remember too many things. And if it is difficult for you to remember this acronym. And if you remember the acronym, you will not confuse coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. Here are the conjunctions as well, and, but, both, and, not only but also, or, so, yet, for, neither, nor, either, or. Now, dear friends, I want to speak about neither, nor, and either, or, and then I'll speak about both and as well. Neither, or, and either, or, if they are used in front of subject of the sentence, verb agreement goes to the second one. It means that or nor. If after or nor a single noun is used, verb is used in the third person singular. If after or nor plural noun comes, verb is used in plural. For example, neither boys nor a girl is my friend, but not are my friends, because the second noun comes after nor, and this subject is singular. Neither boys nor a girl, or nor the girl, so it depends on the context. Now let us change the places of the subject. Neither the boy, neither the girl, nor the boys are my friends. You see, if after nor plural noun is used, verb agrees with this one. So it is the same rule is applied to either or. Either this country or its cities are interesting for me, or either the cities or the country is interesting for me. What about both and? Both and, it doesn't make any sense if after and we use singular noun or plural noun, countable noun or uncountable noun, the verb is always in plural. For example, both my father and mother are doctors, but not is doctor, because we speak about two people. Or both Baku and Ganja are ancient cities. Coordinating conjunctions also called coordinators. They are the conjunctions that join or coordinate words within a sentence, but not two sentences. They can coordinate the words within one sentence. Then items such as, I said that words or main clauses or sentences of equal syntactic importance. Now let us see some examples here. You see that fanboys. For, its meaning is because or since. For example, I have to find a job for I am unemployed. It means that because I am unemployed. What about because? Because is not coordinating conjunction, it is subordinate conjunction. And it means that in addition. For example, my father and mother are, or I went into the hall and sat on the sofa. And I am a husband and father. I am a for example, daughter and, for example, a friend. Nor it means that and not. Now, let us see the example. Neither my parents nor my friends supported me. It means that I was supported by no one. But, it means, however, this is the contrast meaning. If it is and, it is the continuation. Yeah, but if it is but, we have contrast opinion there. For example, today the weather is hot, but it was hotter yesterday. Yeah, it was hotter yesterday. The but, I have got a home, but haven't got a car. And if we use there and, so it means that this is the continuation of the sentence. It means that in both cases, I have got something. I have got a house and a car. Or, it means either. Which color do you like? White or black? Yet, it means but. Tom plays basketball well, yet his favorite sport is football. Though he plays basketball, still he loves football. That football is his favorite sport. And the last one here is so. It means that therefore, it is the reason or it is the result. So, that she was sick, so she couldn't attend the meeting. The reason of her that absence in the meeting is her being ill, or as she was ill, she couldn't attend the meeting. Thomas will be late to work. He has a dental appointment. This is a reason why he will be late to work. Thomas will be late to work for he has a dental appointment. Second one, Jennifer does not like to swim. Does she enjoy cycling? This is contrast. She likes one thing, she doesn't like the other thing. And which one to put here? We can't put there and because the meaning is not, actually not the meaning, the approach or the opinion or the attitude. So it is not the same. There's that contrast meaning. Yes, of course, we'll use there, but does she enjoy cycling? It means that it is an emphatic. It gives an emphatic meaning here. It means that she enjoys cycling very much. Number 3, Jackson wanted to eat another piece of cake. He was on a diet. So again, this is a contrast meaning, but here the contrast meaning is though. Though yet gives us the meaning of though here. Yes, though he was on a diet. Number 4, would you rather have cheese? This is choice. If it is choice, we put which one? Yes, you're right. We use or chicken on your sandwich. I wanted to go to the beach. Mary refused. So again, contrast. someone wants to do something, the other one doesn't want to do it. And our conjunction, coordinating conjunction, will be but. And what about subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunction is a word or a phrase that links a dependent clause to an independent clause. You see, nothing about these conjunctions to be used between the items or the words. It is used between two sentences, and it makes that the one sentence to be subordinated on the other sentence. And here are some examples. Of course, it is not the whole list of the subordinating conjunctions. There are some examples. They are that, if, whether, till, until, after, before, since, ever since, as soon as, while, because, as, though, although, etc. Now, examples. It is a multiple choice. Now let us see which one to choose. You have to take the full course of your antibiotics. Gaps, you feel better, your illness will simply return. First of all, now let us try to understand the meaning. I want someone to take the medication till the end, otherwise will feel bad again. So in that case, so that, such as, it is incorrect, unless, moreover, or whereas, even if, that we take this one, even if. So it means that it doesn't matter, either you feel better or not. You say even if you feel better, otherwise, or in other case, that you will, otherwise you will not feel okay. In Turkey, people can now buy as much foreign currency as they like. It was not always. Now let us try to find the appropriate answer. As they like, yet it was not always to. You see that with not we can't use to. Then so already it doesn't give us a clear understanding. Still either. So again, that because of not, you can say that we can use either here, but what about the meaning? The context doesn't allow us to use it. And let us see, do. Is do appropriate or not? As they like, but it was not always so. It means that not always they can buy as much foreign currency as they want. 3. You will have to study 4 years. You see, have to study. Have, it gives us the meaning of must. 4 years, you intend to read the ancient Greek classics in the original. You shouldn't stop studying it, but if you stop, you will not learn more about Greek classics, or you will not learn it till the end. And you will have to study 4 years if you want. I was tired, I went to bed early. If you remember, we speak about exclamatory sentences and which words or how to form. Here we mentioned so and such. If you remember, if you don't have any problem with using of so and such, these conjunctions will be easy for you as well. And after so, we use adjectives or adverbs, and we don't think about using of nouns. But after such, we always keep in mind, we are always looking for a noun. And then what about the noun to be described by adjective or not? So it depends. It depends. But what about noun? After such, noun is one of the must. And you see here, tired. And that tired is an adjective. So which one to use? That we can't use such here. I mean, so is used in the negative. For example, there was not so hot or was not so cold as it was yesterday. So for there isn't such a conjunction. So as I was as tired as that I don't compare anything there. I was so tired that I went to bed immediately or early. Number 5, he needs your help, your money. He is very proud. So again, the second sentence is the key for the first sentence, and it helps us to choose the appropriate variant. If someone is very proud, this someone never asks for anything from anyone. And in that case, our appropriate conjunction will be which one? Of course, neither nor. Our last material to revise with you is a complex object. Complex object consists of two components, object and verb. It means that the verb in different forms that we'll speak about it. I'll explain once again. What about the objects? Objects can be a noun in the nominative case and a pronoun, which is that object pronoun. For example, him, her, me, us, them, it. And so plus the verbs. These verbs can be used infinitive form or bare infinitive without to and ing. So it depends the predicative. It depends the first verb, the main verb of the sentence. Now here is one example. I want you to speak English well. Here, you to speak is a complex object. It means that I don't want to speak English. My object is you. I want you to speak English. And the question is, who do you want to speak English? And if the sentence was like this, I want to speak English, the question will be, who wants to speak English? I want to speak English. But I want, for example, my daughter, I want my friend, I want my students, or I want, for example, these boys to speak English well. You see, want requires the second verb to be used with infinitive to. And so again, types of the complex object, as you see here. First type is after the verbs that someone, it means that somebody, it means that object to be used, and a verb form, a verb to be used with to. I want you, or I want him to come early, or I wish the whole people, I wish all people to be happy. Then I would like. Be very careful with like. If before the verbs comes would, that is modal verb, and it doesn't matter which forms of the verbs that the previous verb, the first verb requires, it is always used with infinitive to. For example, I would prefer to, I would like to, I would love to, remember it. Then the second is without infinitive, without to. So they are let, make, never take any infinitive. But there is one but. If make is used in passive voice, we use to after it and no object is used. For example, I make him go, but he was made to go. Do you see the difference? The third. So after these verbs, we can use the verb with ing and without ing. So it depends on the context. If we speak about the finished action, we use verb without to. If it is still on, we use ing. See, hear, feel, notice, watch, etc. For example, I saw him cross the street. I saw him crossing the street. If it is without to, it means that I watched him cross the street till the end. But I saw him crossing the street, I didn't know either he crossed or didn't cross. That completes the following sentences using the infinitive or without infinitive. The teacher asked us, after ask we use to listen. He met the students, you know that after make we use infinitive, bare infinitive, right. The teacher let us, after let, we use bare infinitive use. The teacher noticed me, if it is noticed, open the dictionary several times, so it is finished action. Then use the complex object here, but this time we have to make their object form. Do you want them to stay? I would like the professor to look through my report. And the second, the doctor wanted the patient to be examined. It is in the passive infinitive. Nelly expected him. After expect we use to. I saw him turn and disappear in different forms. So which one? Turn and disappear. That was our last meeting with you. And you know that after our last revision, you will have very short time for your admission exams. What I want to say, so my dear friends, I wish all of you to be successful. Wherever you are, whoever you want to be always beneficial for your country and find your right place. Before selecting or choosing the university, think a little. Do I really want to be here? And then how beneficial I'll be for my country, for my people in future. I wish all of you strong health and open minds. Bye.